from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Am I missing something? Did something happen? And I didn't see anything. I mean, it just, slowly increased over the years, and then this last letter just spiked.
Some Fargo and West Fargo homeowners are surprised and angry after getting their property assessment letters. Several saying that they're seeing an increase of $100,000. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us.
Valley News Team's Ashley Bishop investigates why property values increased so much and what it means for your pocketbook.
Tim Scott has lived in his West Fargo home for 12 years.
The previous valuation increase was roughly $10,000. Which isn't too bad. You can stomach that, and you kind of expect that because things are going to appreciate.
But Scott couldn't believe the letter he opened, saying his property value jumped $100,000.
My neighbor kitty corner here, and he said that his went up even more than mine did. Last letter just spiked by about 40%, and that caused me concerns.
West Fargo is not the only community that has seen an increase of property values. So is Fargo. Some properties have seen an increase of $30,000 to $50,000.
Why are they so high?
Well, one of the reasons is that we've seen some increases in sale prices the past couple of years in Fargo, probably to the level we have not seen in, I'd say, over a dozen years.
Hushka says values have climbed by nearly 20% for the past 2 years. Hushka adds just because your value increased doesn't mean your taxes will go up. That depends on state and local budgets.
So obviously, if our values have a direct relationship to sale prices, if sale prices are up, so will the assessment values be up.
But why such a jump like $100,000? Hushka says his office does fall behind and can't get to every property.
The thing I always tell people is if you look at your tax statement or your assessed value and you have an idea of what properties like yours are selling for, if we're quite a ways off, when we eventually do get to your neighborhood, you're probably going to see a fairly substantial increase.
And there is no cap on an annual increase for each property. If people have concerns, you should call the assessor's office because mistakes can happen. As for Scott, he says he has already contacted the West Fargo assessor seeking a second opinion.
Just because I want to plan out for retirement. And seeing that this is going to affect my bottom line, I mean, that's going to affect the amount that I can stock away.
Ashley Bishop, Valley News Live.
In Fargo alone, almost 15,000 letters went out, indicating an increase of 10% or more. If you have questions, we have links to the West Fargo and Fargo City assessors. Go to valleynewslive.com and click on this story. And if you need help uncovering an issue in your community, give us a call at 237-6576 and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work to expose the truth.
Big news from North Dakota State University and Valley News Live today. You'll be able to watch Bison football for the next several years right here. Valley News Live Sports Director Beth Houle joins us early in the studio with the exciting details. Beth?
Thanks, Mike. North Dakota State announcing their new broadcast contracts with 3 different media members today. KVLY and NBC North Dakota Sports back to bring statewide coverage of the 5-time defending national champions. A competitive bidding process. We are thrilled to continue this partnership.
My feeling today is that I'm ecstatic for my employees because we put a lot of effort into it, and the people do it as more art in the fact that they're doing the Bison's game and not just because it's business. And they would have been crestfallen if we hadn't got it and this would have come to an end. But today, just seeing the vitality of the building and how happy people are that we've kept this and they can keep on doing it personally as their leader makes me feel real good.
The new agreements will begin with television and radio coverage of the annual Green and Gold Spring Game on Saturday, April 23rd at the Fargo Dome. Coming up later in sports, we'll hear from Coach Kleiman and Director of Athletics Matt Larson on their decision to choose KVLY and NBC North Dakota Sports.
All right, thanks, Beth. If you want to watch men and women's basketball, you can turn to Midco Sports Network, and all the radio coverage has shifted to Radio FM Media. Bison football and men's basketball will air on 107.9 The Fox and on new affiliates in Detroit Lakes and Wahpeton, while women's basketball will air on 1660 AM.
The temps were pretty close to 70 degrees today. Some may say that calls for shorts and flip-flops. Let's head over to Hutch Johnson to see how long these temps will last. Hutch?
Andrea, looks like we're going to enjoy mild temperatures for the next couple of hours, and then the rest of the 7-day period, well, there's changes. 70-year high temperature at the Hector International Airport today, 76, the record back in 1986. Other highs, a lot of mid-60s in our southern counties, including Lakes Country, 54 in Roseau, 57 in Grand Forks. We remain at 67 degrees in Fargo, but notice things cooling off down to the south. Radar shows that we have some rain and even thunder pushing into southwest portions of Minnesota while it is snowing in the central Rockies. The rain is moving northward. It will be pressing our way in the next couple of hours. Our southern counties will have a chance at seeing some showers. 8 or after in the Fargo area as temperatures slide through the 50s with gusty south winds continuing. And as we look up north, any rain chances will come late. This looks like more of a southern county type of a system. I have details on when you can expect rain to start and how long it takes to warm back up in a moment.
Meanwhile, a good night for a bike ride or a walk.
Get it in quickly.
Thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
A Cass County deputy was assaulted during an early morning cell inspection. Police say this man, Ansu Kamara, followed a deputy into his cell and intentionally pulled the cell door shut, locking it, and then began to strike and headbutt the deputy. Deputy Sean Brecky was able to fend off Kamara until other deputies came in to assist him. Kamara was arrested for felony assault of a peace officer.
Police are still searching for 3 people after a Grand Forks man was shot. It happened early this morning. The victim, 30-year-old David Gomez of Grand Forks, is expected to survive. Gomez has a long criminal history, including possession of drug paraphernalia, assault, violation of a protection order, and failure to register as a sex offender. Now, police received a 911 call of multiple gunshots. It happened at 2 a.m. on North 39th Street. That's about 3 blocks south of the Burger King on Gateway Drive. Now, one of the folks who lives nearby says she didn't hear any gunshots. However, she was a bit shocked when the gunshot victim came pounding on her door.
He was just bleeding on his head.
On his head?
Yeah.
Okay. And you called 911, the ambulance picked him up?
Well, the police came.
Okay. All right. So, but you never heard any gunshots before that?
No, nothing. Till he pounded on my door.
Police say that Gomez was shot in the upper body. They're still trying to sort out exactly what happened out on the street. Witnesses say 3 men drove away from the shooting in a dark-colored 4-door car similar to a Toyota Celica or a Nissan Sentra. No descriptions were given. If you have any information about this case, you're asked to contact police.
The FM ambulance says in just the last month, its crews have used the life-saving drug Narcan 10 times. Most of those cases have been for drug overdoses. On average, it's administered 7 or 8 times a month. It's used to help regulate a person's breathing after an overdose. Narcan is also used for patients who have taken too much prescription medication. For more on how often Narcan is used and how you can help someone you know who's using drugs, we have information at valleynewslive.com. Meanwhile, North Dakota Secretary of State Al Jaeger approved for circulation today the format of a petition to place a statutory initiated measure on the ballot related to tobacco. The sponsoring committee must gather at least 13,452 qualified signatures in order to place the measure on the ballot. If the committee intends to have that measure placed on this year's statewide November 8th ballot, they must submit a sufficient number of valid signatures to the Secretary of State before midnight on Monday, July 11th.
Officials with the city of Lisbon, North Dakota, say the pumps at their main sewage lift station failed about 2 weeks ago. And for 12 hours, raw sewage was pumped into the Cheyenne River. The pumps have since been fixed. Officials say it was either pumped the sewage into the river or let it back up into people's homes. The move to bypass treatment and go right to the river is allowed in emergency situations.
Putting it into the river where you're dumping maybe 60-some thousand gallons into 42 million gallons of river flow versus people being in direct contact with full-strength sewage.
The North Dakota Department of Health says there are no major impacts, and this was the lesser of 2 evils.
A wooden planter used for cigarette butts is to blame for a fire in North Fargo today. The Fargo Fire Battalion chief tells us it started in the planter and then went to the siding. The house, which is separated into 3 apartments, is located at 502 Forest Avenue. That's near Longfellow Elementary School. Fire crews were able to put out the fire quickly. No one was injured, and the house has minor damage.
Voters in the Mapleton School District are again deciding on a $7.2 million school bond referendum. Last time, more than 50% of the voters said yes to the referendum, but 60% was needed for it to pass. According to the district, taxes on a $100,000 home would jump $200 a year. That's about $17 more a month. The current school is 92 years old. It's in need of a lot of improvements. Voting tonight lasts until 7 o'clock. Results will be here tonight on Valley News Live, 10 at 10.
Times may have changed, but it's important to learn about how it was many years ago. What Moorhead students were doing today, later on Valley News Live at 6.
You may have your shorts on and your tennis shoes, but don't forget your umbrella. Rain is building to the south. All details on when you can expect it coming up next.